The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
The former president's comeback will be complete with a win in Wisconsin.
Oh, my fucking God. You guys, can you believe this shit? Trump is back in the White House. I mean, I knew things were getting close, but this is some next level, holy shit, we're living in a simulation type stuff, you know?
It's definitely a huge deal. We've got two perspectives on this one, from Australian news coverage taking a more analytical approach, and the other from a U.S.-based YouTuber who's a bit more, let's just say, expressive.
Expressive is one way to put it. Seeing these reactions side by side, complete meltdown to straight up celebration. It's like two different realities. But let's cut the crap and try to figure out what the fuck just happened. How did we get here?
Well, first we have to acknowledge the historical magnitude of this win. The Australian commentator called it the greatest comeback in modern political history.
How extraordinary. It is the greatest comeback in modern political history. To find an example of it, you don't have one this century. You don't have one last century. You've got to go back to the century before that when they had the 18 in front of the years that were being counted down. Now, there are many images, many stories, many things to tell you about, many things that you've watched happen all the way through the day. And I've done my best to play that straight news bat.
Here we are. It's like something out of a goddamn movie.
Speaking of movies, the YouTuber we're looking at uses a lot of memes and movie references, basically internet culture, to make their point. It's a stark contrast to the traditional news analysis.
Yeah, and that contrast really highlights the emotional roller coaster people are on lefty land, as the Australian commentator puts it, is losing its collective shit.
And I can't forget about this meme from Midnight Mitch, which features an actual photo of Joe Biden literally wearing a MAGA hat. Remember that one?
My fellow Americans and autists who voted for Trump, it's your boy Dank Brandon here. I want to take a moment to congratulate the DNC on losing another election to Donald Trump. You replaced me with a candidate who has the same likability as Greasy, hobo taint and expected to win, and they say I'm the retarded one. The Democrats said that I was too old, that I was too slow, that I was a joke. Well, here's a joke for you. What do Willie Brown and the 2024 presidential election have in common? Kamala Harris blew both of them. I shouldn't have said that. But seriously, I mean, first Hillary loses to Donald and now Kamala. This man has beaten more women than Doug Emhoff. Anyways, congrats on losing to Hitler again. I hope he locked you all up this time. Dank Brandon out.
It's clear that economic anxiety played a big role in this election. Many voters felt like they were falling behind, that the American dream was slipping away, and they were looking for someone they believed could bring back jobs and prosperity.
And Trump positioned himself as that guy.
Right.
Whether he can actually deliver is another story, but he convinced enough people that he was the one to try.
Exactly. He tapped into a well of dissatisfaction and offered himself as the solution, the strong man who could fix everything.
Okay, so we've got angry, forgotten voters, economic anxiety, the us versus them dynamic. What else is in this toxic cocktail?
Well, the Australian commentator also discussed how Trump's campaign focused heavily on the idea of fighting. They argued this resonated with voters who felt the country was under attack from within and from outside forces. It's a very effective way to mobilize support, especially in times of uncertainty and division.
So Trump won because he convinced enough people he was the only one who could fight for them, protect them, make their lives better, even if it means tearing the country apart.
That's a cynical interpretation, but it's not entirely inaccurate. He tapped into populism and nationalism and used it to his advantage.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and It is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Oh, yeah.
But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Anything else to add to this toxic cocktail?
One more element, the role of the media.
Oh, yeah. The YouTuber was going off about the liberal media the whole time. They even called Anderson Cooper an Operation Mockingbird asset and claimed he sold his soul for $12 million a year.
Operation Mockingbird alleging the CIA uses journalists to spread propaganda. But these claims do reflect a distrust of mainstream media among Trump supporters.
Right. They feel the media is biased against Trump, constantly trying to undermine him. Yeah. Honestly, after seeing how much they freaked out over his victory, I can kind of see where they're coming from.
It's a vicious cycle. The media's coverage of Trump often fuels his supporters' distrust, leading to more negative coverage. It's been going on for years and shows no signs of stopping.
So we're all fucked.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions. We still have a lot to unpack. But the media played a role in shaping the narrative around this election, and their coverage, both positive and negative, impacted the outcome.
Okay, I'm officially overwhelmed. This is too much for my brain right now. I need a fucking break.
I understand. It is a lot to take in. Maybe we should pause here and continue this conversation in the next part.
Yeah, good idea. I need a fucking drink.
May be able to breathe for the first time and feel like they belong someplace. They did everything that they knew how to do. And it's going to be harder than it should be tomorrow for them to hold their heads up. And they're not the only people who are hurting tonight.
Well, good, because this is just the start of the Democrats getting a little taste of their own medicine. Would you like to try to hold back tears as well, Chunk Uger?
So right now, as things stand, I just came off the Young Turks show where I lit into the Democratic Party.
You're so tough. You're so brave, sir.
Bunch of losers, corporate Democrats. I hate them. They've cost us election after election. They're corrupt.
See, he doesn't think that they're left enough.
And they lost, it looks like, to a syphilitic clown. Total moron.
He's breaking down into tears.
Con man, Donald Trump. So, if you lose to a buffoon like Donald Trump twice, what does that make you?
Yeah, fuck you guys. This is what you get for trying to take down Trump. Okay, I'm back, and I've got my drink, ready to dive back into this dumpster fire.
Yeah.
We were talking about the media and their role in all this.
Yes. It's interesting how the media's reaction to Trump's win seems to be proving his supporters' point about bias. They're not even hiding their disgust at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely feeding into that us versus them mentality we talked about. Like, look, even the media's against us. They hate us because we voted for Trump.
And the more the media freaks out, the more his supporters dig in their heels. It's the cycle of outrage and distrust.
It's a fucked up dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
Makes it even harder to have a productive conversation about the real issues at stake. Okay. So we've talked about angry voters, economic anxieties, fight, rhetoric in the media. But what about Trump himself?
Yeah.
Has he changed at all? The Australian commentators seem to think so.
They did mention that he seemed more subdued, more introspective in his victory speech. They attributed this to the challenges he's faced in recent years, legal battles, impeachment, even his near-death experience with COVID.
Yeah, and they shared that clip of him saying God spared his life to save our country. Almost sounds like he's had a spiritual awakening.
It's certainly a different tone than we're used to hearing from him. Whether it's genuine or just another tactic remains to be seen. I think everyone's trying to figure out what this new version of Trump means, what his agenda will be, how he'll govern. It's a big unknown. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Will he double down on his populist rhetoric and policies? Or will he try to moderate his approach? Will he try to heal the divisions in the country, or will he make them worse?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea.
We can still hold him accountable. We can still fight for what we believe in.
Fight? Huh. There's that word again. What does it even mean anymore?
That's a question we each have to answer for ourselves. But I think it starts with staying informed, staying engaged, and refusing to be silenced.
So we can't just bury our heads in the sand and hope this all goes away.
Exactly. We have to stay vigilant, speak out, and hold our leaders accountable. This is our democracy. We can't let it slip away.
Well, fuck, I guess you're right.
That doesn't mean we give up.
All right, fine. You've convinced me I'm not going to let this break me. I'm going to stay informed, stay engaged, and keep fighting for what I believe in, even if it feels like a losing battle.
That's the spirit. And remember, you're not alone. There are millions of us who feel the same way.
Well, that's actually kind of comforting. Misery loves company, right?
Something like that. But remember, it's not just about misery, it's about action. It's about turning our anger, our fear, our frustration into something constructive.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go fight the good fight.
That's what I like to hear. And remember, knowledge is power.
It is hard to think of a political comeback that is actually more significant than this one. I'm tempted to say Richard Nixon, but that really falls short of what Donald Trump has achieved.
Yeah, I mean, winning not just the electoral votes, but the popular vote as well.
Have this very funky and terrible system called the Electoral College, which decides elections in a way that's totally different than every other election in the United States decided, and the way that anything's decided anywhere else in the world. We should scrap it.
Oh, and here's Jake Tapeworm learning how Kamala Harris did this time around compared to Joe Biden back in 2020. Wait for it.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
Literally not one county.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Well, folks, there you have it.
Yeah.
The world has officially gone batshit crazy, but we're not giving up. We're going to keep pushing back, keep speaking truth to power, and keep hoping for a brighter tomorrow. Until next time, stay informed, stay angry, and stay fucking awesome.